I first went to England because there was Sir Nihal Singh, the great journalist of India. At that time, the British government and the government of India used to shake even a few words of one nature or another. I was his guest.
Who, Mr. Niyazi?
Sir Nihal Singh.
Sir Nihal Singh.
Oh, big man, powerful. He could shake both the royalties. Even there, they thundered. If he writes any few words, even 5 lines. Very powerful pen, very powerful pen. He was in America, married an American lady, then settled down in London.
But you were not in London for many days.
I was for about, say, 10 days or so.
Oh, 10 days.
Because that was the place which Dadina knew, Sir Nihal Singh. Dadina was a big gun. Agent of Robson Barlow and Company, I mean, one of the biggest concern of England. He was the man who used to sell the machinery for mills. He had money, and son-in-law of Dadabhai Naoroji, he has travelled many times there. If you are London, he has his own dignity of his own. And so, since he was my patient and liked me very much, he didn't want to leave me alone to be exploited by other people. He will guide me and see to my finances and everything. So I never bothered with anything. He used to do everything.
Did you meet any good, well-known doctors in England? I am told that time Dr. Eliot was quite...
Dr. Eliot, he was a phrenologist.
What is that?
Phrenologist means study of the head.
Study of the head and the mind.
Yeah. So as soon as he saw me on the street and he was sitting on his balcony at Ludgate Circus, he says, shh, shh, and then he clapped. I looked up. He says, come. I said, what is this man calling me for? He doesn't know me. But then the people collected together. He says, sir, he is a great phrenologist. A very nice man, very
that
wise
means
man.
By looking at the...
Yeah, I had nothing on my head, so he saw the head. And being a phrenologist, he found something strange in my head.
Something strange, peculiar.
So he says,
bumps and...
come up, yes. He says that your head is a peculiar head. I want to see it, examine it. He took 3 hours.
Oh, 3 hours he examined your head?
He examining the head. And then he wrote the real long thing which was 50 pages long. Each detail given there.
Oh,
that was stolen in America when my wardrobe was...
Oh, that also was stolen?
Taken, yes, manuscripts and wardrobe. All my things. Even some of the old manuscripts like Yog Biji, which is no copies available in India today. All that, Debistan, that also was stolen.
But when you went to America, did they not ask you, what are you come here for?
Yes, they did.
To learn something?
As soon as I got out from the Baltic, that was the steamer. See? Celtic and Baltic, they were the 2 greatest and biggest steamers at that time of 25,000 tons. So, when the captain, because my seats were reserved by Dadina, he kept me in such a high esteem that he would not like me to mix with common people. I was a special man for him.
But there also you were wearing the same types of clothes here, or you had changed your clothes?
No, this kind of clothes. This was when I got down in America also, same. So when I came out of my room with this kind of a thing, people began laughing because I had nothing on my head. It was winter. See, because I think it was in end of November I went. See, so they began clapping, and people asked me. Someone offered his own hat and put it on my head, and I took it out and held it in the hand. And they said, but in this thing you can't do.
You mean because of the snow or because of the heat?
Snowfall and the cold, that it will affect me in my head. So they were sympathetic to the young man who doesn't know about the character and weather of the country. So what Dadina did was, first thing is that he took the taxi, he went to a hats which are kept of various types, various things, long, up topiwala, and these seal hats, where if you blow, the redness will come from inside. Seal hats, yes, they are very warm, so warm, heating.
Made out of seal skin.
Seal, yes, and they cost up to $75 at
that time.
Yeah, very costly. Somehow that he ends there, and he found this silk cap very touching to him. He got me there and put it on my head. He says, keep it. I thought, all right, I keep it. Since he was my secretary, he financed the whole process. He's looking after everything. I said, I don't displease you. I kept it.
But then your clothes and entire attire also must have
they
changed.
Were all different types.
Suit and all, you were wearing just
that long coat.
Long coat.
That is Dadabhai Naoroji's coat.
And shoes.
I still have it. I still have it.
Achha,
That
right.
Dada Navroji wore when he was in the parliament. First address of the parliament
Mhm.
was done by that coat.
Is that
And
right?
I kept that coat with me, still with
That's
me.
the memory. But did the Americans ask you what brings you here? You
Yeah,
have come
that
to learn
is
something?
when I came down from these stairs, downstanding people began wondering.
Mm.
So you are going to join Columbia University? Come for what study? I said, no study, I am going to teach the Americans.
Oh, you're going
And-
to, I'm going to teach
And
the
that
Americans.
word when I uttered, you can see their eyes prop up like that.
Mm.
You have come to teach the Americans?
Mm.
What do you mean? They talk a little loudly and hardly.
Mm.
Radina told me that he didn't mean anything. His English is little poor and he doesn't know the colloquial language of your country. He only meant that he has come here to teach you something he knows. Oh, I see, something he knows he wants to teach us. What is that thing? He says, you. Oh, we never heard about it. It teaches you something about yourself, how to control your breath and how to live long. Oh, such nice things. Very good, very good. And they became the guide.
But similar attitude must have been shown by Indians also here when
Oh,
you were
yes,
doing
oh, yes,
yoga.
in India, I
they
mean,
might
they
have ridiculed and said yoga.
When I
karta hai."
used to walk at Warsaw, then from behind, joke kare.
So they twisted
The Parsis were very discourteous.
jocular, yes.
Yeah, very jocular. They didn't mean harm, but then they enjoyed this sort of joke. But then when they found that people with heart trouble, 1 inch dilated up to the sternum, see, when that man was cured and was made to run on the seashore,
Then they.
then they realized that there is something he knows.
How was your trip from London to USA? Was it any?
It was a dangerous trip because the Baltic was about to sink. A great wave came. The sea was boisterous and typhoon has taken place. So the ship used to turn this way and we go up and then down. Everybody went into their own rooms and began crying because they know this is near now. I was the only man with the captain standing on the deck looking as to what is going to happen now. He says, man, you can go in your own room and if you like, yeah, of course you can sit here. Then we kept on watching. Everybody thought at one time when a big wave came and slashed on a side, the whole Baltic
Nearly turned.
turned so much that I can touch the water from my deck. And they thought that there was no hope for this ship to be saved.
You're really lucky to
The
have survived
captain
that.
was it was his last trip. After 25 years of his service, he was going to leave this
Job and retire.
job. So he was very proud to see that his career is perfect. He thought out all type of a plan. The water that is in the tanks, he used to ask us to raise the tank towards the side where the ship turns, so that it can balance a little. And somehow or the other, he brought us safe.
Managed to reach.
Managed to reach the shore. From the distance when they knew that we were in trouble, so many ships came up running to help us.
Achha.
See? And we reached New York quite
Now,
safely.
when you landed in New York, I'm sure so many people must have come to ask you what brings you here, what have you come to learn something.
Yeah, being a young man, coming from a high deck next to the cabin of the captain, must be a prestigious man of some great repute. Because there the princes of India and the Raja Maharajas you go, they are allowed that state. Or the lords and ladies of London. When I come down from there, they thought I must be some Maharaja
Some Maharaja
or a prince. So they asked me, have you come for sightseeing?
Or have you
Then
come
somebody thought that I might have come as a prince to learn in America.
Then did
So
they
if you
must
want
have
to
asked
come and
you,
join college or anything, I said, no, I have come to teach.
You have come to teach
Yeah.
Americans. What?
And then they
You
wondered,
must have got a shock.
what do you talk? Yes, what do you talk? To teach the Americans? It's not a good sentence to speak like that.
Mhm.
Who can teach the Americans? We know all about everything. So they take a little insulting way of looking at the word, the way as I spoke it. Not that I meant it, but then it is the way they interpreted it. But some people, out of curiosity, knowing that this man is very frank and talks very directly, they took interest in me to see that I do not get into trouble with these New York people.
Mhm. Now, which
So-
part of New York did you land in?
Yes, it is the Riverside Drive.
Riverside Drive.
Yeah, near the
And
Riverside.
there was In someone's house or bungalow or?
No, they bring you into small boats.
Mhm.
See, yeah, the steamer cannot come so near.
Okay.
But then small steamers are allowed to come there when you see transfer your luggage and yourself.
But did you have some friend from India who accompanied you?
Yes, that
Or
was Dr. Adina, Homid Adina.
Dadina?
Yeah.
He was related
Son-in-law
to...
of Dadabhai Nauroji,
Uh-huh.
and was my patient suffering from diabetes
And,
and variety of diseases.
so you had cured him and...
Yes,
brought
and
him,
I
that's why
got
he-
him well, and he was examined by the doctors. As soon as we landed,
Mm.
people became very curious to see me. That a young man without a hat on his head
Mm.
is walking around here bravely,
Uh-huh.
as if he is the lord of the world. So they wondered as to who this man must be. Some people thought he was a prince. Must be a prince come from India. They live like that with great dignity. Well, I was no prince, but they thought I was, so they used to respect me. Of course, cautioned me to be careful that I might catch cold and might fall sick. I must put more clothes. Why didn't I bring a woolen overcoat or something? I said, I don't have any overcoat or anything. They said, go and buy, or we'll go and buy for you. I said, nothing will happen to me. So I went along quite well, and the people were quite surprised.
Were you also able to show them perspiring in...
Yeah, and because
severe
of
cold?
this, some of the men told this story to some doctors,
Mhm.
that here a man coming from India, from a warm country, had nothing on his body except his little underwear and things like that. And he was walking as if nothing has happened to him. So the doctors all got very curious. 5 or 6 hospitals,
Mhm.
then mental hospital like the Bloomingdale. They got interested to know what is this Shadavada, and they wanted to get an explanation as to how I can have so much of heat in my body. So they sent the word to Dadina that the doctors of New York City, especially from the Rockefeller Research Institute, 2 of them, Dr. Melzer and Dr. Mosenthal.
Dr. Brizel.
Melzer,
Melzer.
M-E-L-T-Z-E-R. Mosenthal was another. They were 2 top people, very, very proud people, as if they knew everything. So they came with a band of 8 or 9 other practitioners of the New York City who were very well known. The Fifth Avenue man and that man and that man, they're all very well known people. They came upstairs and each had a big robe and everything on their body because it was winter period. And I was sitting in my room. I had a drawing room of my own which was very costly. But then Dadina thought that dignity demanded that I could not be seen in a room directly. They must come and wait in a waiting room. And it must be a gorgeous, imposing
These
room.
formalities need to be carried out.
So he used to keep them apart and so forth. So after this, doctors got together. They say they want to see me. So when that message was given to Dadina, he said that the New York doctors, including those from the Rockefeller Institute, want to see you. I said, it's all right. It was very cold, breezy. And I didn't wear anything except my ganji.
As you are wearing today here in
Yeah. So I
humid
came out
climate of Bombay.
and they looked at me.
Mhm.
Don't you feel cold? I said, no, I'm perspiring. And I showed them that I was perspiring. And they're looking at each other's face. Neuromuscular control.
Mm.
They began talking among themselves. Neuromuscular control.
Neuromuscular control.
Oh, yeah.
Was there any institute there?
No,
in
at
New
that
York?
time there was none, of course, when I went. But then when I went there, and people used to come to me at 125 Riverside Drive, a prestigious place. I mean, only could be used by a few people.
But then this Tuxedo Park and Harriman Institute was
No, that is Tuxedo Park is on the way
on the way to
to Harriman.
Harriman Institute.
So Harriman is 40 miles away from New York.
Uh-huh.
So I used to come now and then to New York to visit some people or to meet some people or to help some people. And then I returned back again by the evening, either by train or either by car.
Is that the time you told them about this lost science of 5,000 years?
Yes. I wrote a pamphlet. It is still there. It's
It
very
was,
beautiful.
consisting
Yes,
of some lecture
yes,
series, is
beautifully
it?
brought out on very fine paper.
Mhm.
It costed quite much, but then we bore the question. And then in that we gave the history of yoga what it can do, what it cannot do, and how it can be useful to humanity today. So much was written about treatment of human being in various fields, moral, mental, and other things. So the people, when it was circulated, the people got too much excited. Some of the rich people from what they call the Fifth Avenue,
Fifth Avenue, yes.
yeah, especially Hilda. She came from Germany and she was the wife of Mr. Hermann Baer, who was the owner of the sandpaper company. For the world over, it was one of the biggest things that sandpaper throughout the world are distributed by that one company.
Is that right?
Very powerful.
They came from Germany.
Yeah, Germany. He was a German. He married that American girl, Mrs. Baer. And somehow or the other, when I met, when I was speaking at one of the prestigious places where very few people are allowed to speak, big auditorium where only before me, Sir Oliver Lodge spoke there on life after death, and after that followed myself. It was a very proud place. I mean, people who speak there are considered to be great men of rank, see. I was non-entity to myself, I mean, but then they thought there was something very mysterious about me. So they took me as one of the great.
They must have been impressed by your talk.
Well,
but
the
at
way
same-
I talk, directly and distinctly, I mean, without any hindrance, the language which was quite good. And they thought that a young man speaking like this, with so much of power behind him, we must try to find out why he has come here. See?
But at the same time, were there any psychic laboratories or research societies?
There were little what they call psychic research societies. There were one which was very powerful, and that is the same Dr. Hereward Carrington. He is now spoken of as the American yogi.
Oh, is that. I was told that you also displayed some transferring of one's energy.
Yeah, that is when I stayed there for about 8 days or so. I used to walk on the seafront, the Riverside
Seashore.
Drive, just near the Hudson River. Hudson River, just touching it. And they used to find me in this kind of a clothes in strong winter when people were hugging me with their overcoat. So one man came and asked me, he said, "Don't you feel cold, sir?" No, I said, "I'm perspiring." And I showed him. The story went over to the Rockefeller Research Institute. The scientists got surprised at it.
So you went and cured some people there or some patients?
No, I didn't do anything of that nature in the beginning because they didn't know what I am.
Yes.
See,
Then-
I had to introduce myself. So I stayed at the Riverside Drive for about 5 or 7 days. Then Dadina began talking to them that he is a mystery man. Any sick man of any nature, bring him, he'll cure. The lady in whose flat we engaged
staying,
that block, she owned the whole flat. She pays for it, but she rents it and makes little money out of it. A good lady. So she was told that I am able to do this, that, I can cure people of this disease, that disease. And she was surprised at it at that time. Asthma, diabetes, heart trouble, they were considered something very impossible.
Yes.
They used to usually give it up and say they is as good as dead. So when this was told, they brought in a man suffering from a heart trouble. He happened to be doctor himself, Charles W. Hack. He was a famous man because he was associated with the Life Extension Institute, where 1,000 doctors work and examine the people of the whole of New York City and outside, free of cost. The institution was called the Life Extension Institute.
Life Extension Institute.
Yes, very big institution, too much of money with it. They used to examine people free. If you go and say, I have a complaint, and you say you have such a complaint, and it's a
So
pain.
he
in the leg.
himself came for treatment to you.
Yes. So when Dr. Hack came to me after knowing that he had rheumatism or something, or some trouble that he was in, heart trouble especially, because of the wife. Wife was a little jittery woman. So the man was very much perplexed, very highly developed man with a woman that is usually not to his mark. And he has to live with her, so he got a little rattled psychologically. He came to me, and through my assistance, he got perfectly all right, and he got good sense, I mean, a good control. And the people at the Rockefeller Research Institute were very much surprised. He says, who has put you to this right path? He says, there is some young man from India. They call him Yogi. Oh, Jogi, yes. They are funny people, they're mystical. So then the crowd the people in the town in New York began to come to know of it. And there are always some curious people interested in occultism and whatnot and all sorts of ideas. So one man after another began coming. Among them was a Copper King, the king of copper.
Copper King.
He was. He didn't know even how much money he had, which means he had the copper mines of
Yes.
Columbia in Canada. And all the mines he owned.
Yes.
He has no wife, no child, nobody. He was alone by himself. A lonely man, very powerful, mentally well balanced, financially strong. Somebody told him that you should choose this strange man. He'll make you quite happy. Because he was a lonely man. He never used to visit and meet people also, because they will talk only of money, because he
Yes.
has money. And he was tired of this subject. So he came to my place, rather fearing that I might not insult him. Being a man of very great rank, I mean,
Yes, that's true.
and an Indian not knowing etiquette properly might
Yeah,
probably
quite
say a
possible.
word or two, which he might feel very bad about. So he was very, very cautious. The lady doctor who brought him told me that I should speak a little low
Politely.
and very courteously to him. He's a man of very high rank. I asked the man to come into the room. I was in my own sleeping room and I had an extra room, which very rarely people in such hotels like the Ansonia can afford to carry.
Okay,
But
correct.
I used to have one room for meeting people and one room for my own sleeping, which very rarely anybody could have.
What was the reaction when he came in? What was his problem?
He used to go into a state of morose,
No, depression.
yes,
Because he was
depression,
lonely and no
depression.
family and-
and overwork. That was the depression. So brought to me. I told him that I have an extra room here. You stay in here. I kept him there, talked to him. He was very pleased. And after I gave him confidence, he became very confident. He went to his Life Extension Institute and he told the people that a remarkable thing is happening there. This man has capacity for changing a man's character and his whole entire being. We must try to help him. I am going to do it. So being a head of the organization, they all accepted the idea. About 10 to 12 medical men joined and said they would like to meet me. They send a word if I can be seen. I said they can come any day. And so they made up a day when they can come. They came. And they sat.
Are they
shared-
thinking of starting any institute or
Yeah.
yoga center there?
Yeah,
or-
then I talked to them. They felt very much, and I showed the reports of cases of the various types where medical men here have given certificates of their being cured. They were very much surprised when the medicals were involved in it. And they thought that there must be some truth in it, and that they should give me a full chance of doing what I can to prove that I have a science or a subject by which much can be done beyond what they know in medical
Correct.
science.
But it is about the same time, I think you had to come back to India.
Yes, that was when the institution was established. They said, they asked me, Mr. E. Bisla, the Copper King, he was among one of them who was much attracted. A fine young man, unmarried, with too much of wealth. Anybody was willing to marry him.
So he was willing to finance that
He
institute.
came and he saw me. He saw me and thought to me like a Christ. I had a beard, small,
Yeah.
nice, just a very fine face. And no thinking on my mind or anything, pure mind. So he was very much attracted. He says, you have come to my country, you should have no difficulty at all. That's the word he uttered. You must have no difficulty at all. And he speaks as if he is the lord of the place. The Fifth Avenue man, oh yes.
No,
He
but you
says-
did not stay in States for a long time.
Yeah.
Or did you?
Then he asked me, he says, why you have come here? Want to study at the Columbia University? I have my friends there. Want to do something else? Want some business? I can give you my business, make you my agent there. I was surprised. I told him that I have not come for this, I have come to teach. And he was surprised. To teach? I said, yes, to teach the American. And he just got a shock. This young man talking about teaching the Americans, you know so much.
They
I say,
always
yes,
thought so.
I know something which you don't know. Oh, is that so? Is that so? What is it? I say, you put your hand like that. I put my finger like, it burns. I say, what burns? Nothing is burning here. And he got so unnerved that he went to the people, medical people, and tell him, there is somebody who knows something more and can control his body. So they collected on
So
a
just by
day.
putting your finger across his
I
palm,
just
he-
simply discharge energy from my finger.
Energy.
Very easy, very easy. It was just a fun to me, nothing. See, so
Sir, do you
this.
think this kind of energy can be transmitted from
Oh yes,
you
to other
patient?
people even to save their life, which I did even in America. Where a German lady, widow, with two bright sons. The sons were about 16 years and 19 years. Very, very fine. And especially the Herbert, the small boy. Oh, he was
she came
fond
for
of me
some
like
treatment.
anything. Yeah.
She came for some
Yeah. So he used to be with me. One day at night, about 12 o'clock or so, I heard a lot of hubbub across my boundary. And that was the place where the German lady used to stay. So I thought something must be going wrong. Let me go and see. So I walked down. And she was unconscious and they say she's about to die. Doctor have seen her pulse and they say just 1 hour or 2 hours she might live.
Only
And the
1 or
boys
2
were
hours.
crying, yes, the boys were crying, they were young men. The doctors who came to examine her told that nothing can be done. It's all over. And I think within 2 hours now, she won't be alive. So I living opposite. The boy came running. Her mother is dying. And I put on my clothes. I just walked with him. Went there. I saw him lying down on the floor, quite unconscious, didn't know even what was happening near her. The two boys crying for their life. I felt pity because I liked those boys very much. And I decided I will save her. So I told them she won't die. Sit there, sit there. Then I came near her head. I sat on this side of the. And I remember that very much. I moved my hand over her face. After about a minute or so, I told him, don't worry now, she'll wake up in the morning. She'll be sleeping.
Is that right?
And after that, she'll be all right. You bring her to me in the morning. So they just simply
Again
surprised as to what I am talking. She is to die in a few minutes, and he's talking about
Bring
taking
her
her in the morning to my place because my
Right.
institution was just next to it.
But then, was she really cured by the transformation?
Yes, let's say
transferring of the
prana,
energy.
prana was given to her to make up for the loss she had. And she came up struggling.
They must be really astonished.
It was.
Kind of.
That is what made the Harriman Institute. Anyway,
But you did not stay very long in America. You had to come
no,
back
because
to India.
father is a lonely man.
So there used to be communication between you and
Yes, father was the main man, and with nobody to look after him. If he falls sick, whom can he tell? If there is anything he wants, whom can he?
Ask for.
And a lonely man at a very ripe age. I remember then my responsibility as a son. And I said that I come here and prosper, but what about my father? I said I go back again. So I began packing up and told them to reserve my passage on Rotterdam. The steamer was the Rotterdam, a very prestigious Rotterdam.
Yes, sure.
23,000 tonnage. At that time, 23,000 tonnage was a big tonnage.
Oh, yes. It was one of the biggest
So
ships.
they were below 5,000 or 10,000. This was a very high ship. And they engaged my place there, very fine. And then I left, but everybody cried and everybody
Yeah,
said
must
that,
have.
why are you leaving? If you want to marry, we can give you girls as many as you want.
Yes.
They're here, select whom you want. And even the richest man of the city, he came with his daughter. Why do you leave this country? She is there. Marry her. Stay with me. So the offers were there. And I began wondering, what can I do with all these things, I say.
Your father was waiting here.
Yes, so I
And
say my
all
duty
Indians.
is to my father who has brought me up from my age of 3 years when mother was dead and looked after me like a mother and father, who prepared my food, cooked my food, made my beds, looked after me when I was sick. I cannot forget him. So I say even those luxuries here waiting for me and young girls who are dancing around me, I say, I am not interested. I'll go back again.
Well, on the way back, did you meet any dignitaries on the ship?
Yes, Dr. Surendra Das Gupta. He was Cambridge University.
Cambridge University.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And he was a great scholar of India, considered as the top philosopher.
Mhm.
Radhakrishnan and Dr. Das Gupta. They were very much respected in London, in England, and they were both philosophers. He happened to be with me on the steamer.
Hmm.
I, as a young man, and he with a respectable age, and with so much of degrees behind him,
Yes.
from PhD down to DD or whatnot, everything. And I,
Some
happy-go-lucky sort of a young man. He used to wonder how I could be on this steamer, having a cabin next to the captain,
Captain.
and to be respected so much that he sees my food is given to me and he is present all the time. So he has a curiosity to come and see me. So he came up near me and see me, what's here? I said, I have just returned from America. He says, yes, I know that, I know. What were you doing there, studying? I said, what studying? I was teaching, I was lecturing.
Very
And he just simply, he couldn't understand that a young man of his age where I could be his student. I was talking about lecturing. On what? On yoga. And he was himself a specialist on yoga. He
Yoga
was known for yogic literature and for literature and research work. So he just fumbled. So you know yoga? I say, yes. And he got quieted. Maybe that I may be knowing and I'll probably make him feel smaller, inferior. So he stopped talking. But he said, what I do is, you please, I invite you to my place. I am a principal of Chittagong College.
That is at Calcutta.
Yes, near Calcutta. And I give you my invitation. Whenever you want to come, just send a telegram to me. And I'll come to Calcutta to take you over to my place, see? And you stay with me for a few days.
But
He
you
had
went
a-
there only later on, no? First you came to Bombay only.
Yes, I came to Bombay. I got down. And when Narottam Murarji came to receive me, it was a surprise.
Oh, Narottam Morarji.
Yes, because I used to stay with him
Uh-huh.
in India.
Ship
That
packing.
time he was the richest man of Bombay.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. I used to stay into his own home, seeing
But
me.
Swamiji, you were known as by a different name in America and
In America was Yogananda.
Yogananda.
Yeah.
But then now we call you as Yogendra.
Sri Yogendra. That is because after my coming from America,
Hmm.
people wrote letters to me to say that some Yogananda is lecturing in Chicago. Have you returned back again?
Uh-huh.
And I was surprised. So I asked my lawyer, what should I do? He says, you put it in the paper, in the government gazette of India at least, that I am still here in Bombay or in India, and the man who is advertising himself as Yogananda
Is someone
is
else.
not myself. I did that.
But I was told that some of your literature also was
Was
misplaced.
told, yes, that was told by the same Hereward Carrington. He is called the great yogi of America today, respected as.
You mean they took away your
No, that
written
was my
papers?
manuscript which I gave to him. He kept it for days when he must have typed out again.
Mhm.
See, I gave it for just reading because he was a reader to 4 or 5 publishing companies, Longman,
Longman.
see, and a number of other companies to whom he was a reader. He passes a book and says this book is worth publishing, and they will publish it. So my book went to him. He like a dog, he began absorbing everything and copying out. And then the book was given to me. My manuscript was given to me. It came after 1 month.
This
in
must be
Chopin.
happening, I think, because it's valuable treasure. It might be pounced upon by some others, or it might be stolen.
Whatever it was,
This
but
is- well,
when they
anyway.
write only after what you have
No,
written.
let us exclude them just now. Let us come back to our own Indian
Yeah.
philosophy and strategy. But
I
after coming to India, were you only stationary or you went all around India?
All
to-
around, because the habit of movement,
the
visit,
desire?
and going about, seeing, sightseeing, it has so much in me. Even in America also, I probably wandered about everywhere.
So did you visit any mutts or ashrams or
Yes, I did visit
Hermitage.
the Bohar and Tilla Mutt, which are very famous.
Bohar
As
and
the-
Tilla?
Tilla Mutt, they are the ancient mutts of the yogis,
And they were
1,000-year old, over
Uh-huh.
1,000-year old.
Mhm.
They are mentioned even in the books. I read it for the first time in the Debistan, which was written 700 years ago. They
But these
mentioned the Debistan. In the Debistan, there is a one page in which they have mentioned about the yogis of Bohar Mutt.
They are supposed to be followers of
the old
Gorak-
ancient yogis.
Natha yogis, is it?
Yes, Nath yogis. They were.
That is Machendranath and Gorakhnath and others.
Yeah, Gorakhpanthis. They are called Gorakhpanthis.
Mhm. So, what was your experience when you went to this?
Well,
Mutts.
since they were respected in their earlier stages because of being yogis, they hoarded enough money. People give land and money like anything, ornaments, everything. So they were overrich. And the only thing is they knew is to live prosperously. So
Oh, I
there are
see.
beautiful big buildings, bungalows. In at the top of it, with a window looking out, a platform is raised, and the guru will sit there and keep on looking people who come and go. And
But
you
they
have
were
to-
not doing anything for the
Nothing,
society.
but totally
But then,
worthless.
what about their knowledge or way of
Nothing,
life?
nothing. Just simply
So you came back disappointed from that.
khichdi wala, khao khichdi, doper thawa. By noon time, the only one thing ready is your plate. You wash it, clean it, and put it there, and somebody will come and throw food for you, and you eat there. That's all.
But on the way back, you had to get down at Lahore and.
Yes, I saw many of places, and many mutts also. But I found that there was too much of trickery. See, make believe. This story is circulated by some disciple that my guru went there, and a snake was going, and a man was going to be bitten by it. My guru made the hand like that, and the snake just stopped like that and began praying for it.
These are all made up.
Made up stories. So they were, I found out that there was not even one single story of yoga is correct. Yeah, I went through whole of thing up to what they call the Uttarbeni, next to the Mount Everest. I don't realize it now when I read and when the people talk and the government speaks of it. I wonder, did I go so far as that?
Yeah,
I mean,
you can't-
beyond go,
Yeah, very difficult
Uttarbeni,
places.
they are not allowed to go.
yeah, very difficult places to reach also.
Yeah, it
Even
was
if you-
very whole morning. I started at 5 o'clock in the morning from Srinagar.
From Srinagar.
Yeah, and my terrible time to walk on that hilly track
Must
with
be.
no roads at all. Stones and this and that, and all sorts of pits and whatnot. And hungry, but no food. See, the 35-mile walk has to be done before you get any food. So it became darkness. So the man who has given me his kachar, it was not a
Mule,
donkey
mule.
or a horse, it was a kachar.
Kachar.
Yeah, sturdy.
Sturdy,
Yeah,
mule.
very sturdy.
Yes.
So my luggage was on it. Sometime I used to climb on and sit there for some time when I feel tired. I got down from it. But the man said, "Sir, 10 minutes more and you won't be alive."
Why?
I said, "Why?" "The tigers will begin coming now. It's sunset."
You get tigers even in
Plenty.
Himalayas.
Oh my, their sound and their smell, awful. But I was too proud. And I said, if the damn thing comes, I'll open his mouth and tear him to pieces. I really was strong, terribly strong, and I had overconfidence. So we went, and I began smelling the smell of a tiger. I know that because I have seen them many times. At Panera, when I went there, when the tiger came from Dharampur state,
From Dharampur.
yeah, just got loose and began walking, and he thought he's the master of the place.
Yes.
So right under the killa, the fort, I looked out of that hole, and the tiger is there. I can smell it. People began shouting from below.
Yes.
Now don't get out of that fort. Stay into the temple. Close your doors. There is a tiger there. There is a tiger there. Story went to my father. People ran on a horseback and told him that your son is in distress. And father came running downstairs, standing near the step, telling me not to come out but to stay in till the tiger is gone. To me, I am always a courageous man. Always take risks.
Yes.
That has been my character all along. So I just opened the door and I came and I saw that damn thing. I began planning as to what I should do. Take his, as soon as he comes to bite, I said, take the two jaws and pull them up.
Tear
Tear
open
him to
his jaws.
pieces practically, yes. I had strength. I was afraid of my strength. But the tiger somehow or the other looked at me like that. Probably living in forest at Dharampur, never knowing even human beings very well. He got scared when I stared at him. He put his tail down
And went back.
walking away.
Remarkable.
Then I didn't try to disturb it, let it go.
But this must have got a lot of publicity also. Did you
Yes,
meet
the
any?
people began talking about. They called me great miracle man. That was the story of the town as Bilsara. I was a
There is a
miracle
story of some Swami Ananda whom you met. Lala Kushal Chand
person. That is in,
in
Lahore.
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 Yes. He was, what was he? He was an
He
editor
was,
of some
he was the editor of the Daily Milap,
Daily Milap.
one of the most powerful paper, large circulation with the people following him like a wild man. He met me. I was in the train. He sat near me. He looks at me. There a young man. What am I going to do here? He says, why have you come here? I said, just to tour. Touring, you like to go around about? I say, yes. Have you money? I say, yes. Well, before you go, you stay with me for a day or 2 days. I am the editor of Daily Milap. Here is my card. I am staying at so-called very well-known area. They know all about it. You see.
So
The
you
Milap
stayed
Road.
with him and had.
Yeah, in Lahore. So he gave me the invitation. I stayed in one of these rest houses.
Hmm.
The next day I was going by the horse carriage.
Hmm.
He saw me sitting in the horse carriage and he came running, see, and he asked me to stop. He said, I invited you to come to my place. Why do you stay at some different place?
Yes. So.
I said, I didn't want to give trouble. To stay at a stranger's place and give him trouble, I mean, it was something very unusual. I just can't do it. But he said, no, you come with me. So he took the carriage, took down my luggage down, asked his people to come downstairs and take my luggage and give me a room. He was so very friendly, so very
But
careful.
how were you managing your food item there?
Everything they
Because
used to prepare. So I stayed there. I used to get my food, eat it properly, go out for a walk as it were the Lord of the world, see the whole of Lahore. And
no, that time this problem of untouchability was quite rampant in India.
It was.
So,
But I didn't make any difference about it.
very good. So you didn't consider it below your dignity to eat
No,
even from
anybody's
the
food, anybody's
lowly
food.
servants. Or,
Philo kaun aayega?
but could you tell me something about Swami Ananda and the editor of Daily Milap? Because I was told that time only you were looking after some libraries and you found out you had invented some powder to preserve the books.
Yes, that was what I used to call
Yoko.
it as Yoko book polish.
Uh-huh.
It became very famous because in monsoon the mold comes on and the books become sticky.
But how did that happen? Because you were reading books in his library or something?
No, I was at Chittagong. And
Chittagong.
Dr. Dasgupta asked me to mix up a few things, select with spirit. And he used to apply it on the thing and it used to shine and become new. And the white ants, other things don't make any holes inside. I was surprised at it. So I took something in the bottle as to what it is. When I went home, I said, why not investigate this thing and make something out of it, make a business out of it? Because I had nothing to do.
Yes.
So I found out by analysis, which I gave to the government laboratory. And they said there is nothing much in it. There is a shellac and some spirit and some turpentine. Preserves the book by making it glossy and it remains
But
clean
that you
without-
had that patent and formula or
No, there was no
it-
formula, but these things were known as it is can be known. Then I said that this is not enough. Rats, worms, white ants, they eat also.
so did you
No,
try
there
to
should be, yes, then there should be something. So I asked a man who was a veterinary surgeon. I say, what poison do you use for
for killing all those insects?
for diseases or for any other treatment? He told me that is mercury perchloride. And he showed me the lump of mercury perchloride. It was a white stone piece sort of a stuff, see?
So what is-
tremendously poisonous. If you touch it with your tongue, you are dead. So I took that and I used to powder it in very small things and just touch a little piece of
Matchstick?
yes, matchstick or something. Just touch it and whatever comes on it, I used to put into every tin which I prepared.
But did someone try to do this, manufacture it at
No, nobody did and nobody knew about it.
then either in India or abroad?
Nobody. So when it's a book polish came in, it was a flare up. All the libraries wanted Yoko book polish. So the Oxford University Press became my agents.
Oh,
I
I
have
see.
nothing to do. They do all kind of things.
But then they must have manufactured it on
No,
larger
they never
scale?
did it. They
No.
never did. They were very careful because the man whom I knew as a manager was a very, very nice man. He liked me very much. He says, a young man I like to encourage and ask me if there is anything I can do for you.
Now, while all this was going on, you had promised your father that you will become a householder.
That
Something about your marriage
yeah, because my
to
running
Sita
around
Devi.
and carelessness towards any talk of marriage or even marrying,
Mhm.
even when some ladies or girls were brought
Mhm.
and they casually come into the room as it were. Of course, I see when they come naturally because they are brought from the front room and on the front door. As soon as they enter, I see. But I never give any attention. See, sometimes they make them do something, dig something in the front of my room, in the roadside, and make them wait to see that I see her properly. So they did all kind of things. I took no interest in any one of these things. See.
Then how did you manage to meet Sita Devi?
That is the story by itself.
Yes, we would like to know that story also.
Well, that was at a time when after 6 years of my coming to India and traveling around the country,
Hmm?
I stayed with people who have their households. And especially when I went to Chittagong and saw Dr. Das Gupta
Hmm?
and his most beautiful wife. And she used to come stand near the door. And when I take my meals, she just looks at me shyly and then send word to her husband after a few days of my stay that she would like me to marry her sister. She is more beautiful than myself.
Acha. Wonderful.
And they brought her even. They kept
That
her
was
for
in-
a few
that was
days
in Chittagong.
to make me
So
to make me get
she was-
acquainted with her. She will come and take my books,
Books
put
and
it
read.
inside my room and clean that table and brush the chair, dust the chair and things like that. She used to just knock around about. Thinking that I might take interest. She was really very beautiful. Me, the consideration was that I have no personal income.
Yeah,
I have
So
still
some-
to earn.
correct.
If I take her and have children or anything of that nature,
Who will look after
what
her?
will happen?
Yes.
I can't marry.
Correct.
So I decided not to marry in that stage. So when they asked me these things, see, I didn't know where I can take her and keep even. See, remaining myself into a rented house, which is just a small little old time household thing, a sort of a kodara where only cattle live. I didn't have the courage to have marriage of that nature. And I thought that I'll wait till I have become somebody. And then I thought of doing something as a business.
Then where did you meet Mr. Venkat Raman Rao, father of Sita Devi?
Father of Sita Devi.
Hmm.
That was, I think, right in Bangalore. There was a big creek running, the road and the house.
Mhm.
So from the creek, since they knew that I was coming, on the other side of the road, my carriage was coming, and I saw that this was the number house somewhere there. Her father was standing in the middle, and she was peeping. I just saw her little face, and I made up my mind that she is the one I would marry.
In today's world, they call love at first sight.
Yes. It's somehow the inspiration
Ah.
that this is the fitted thing. It was not a question how much educated she is or what she is or how much money her father has or what not or what great dignity they have as far
No
as...
question of dowry.
Nothing of any nature whatsoever. Just married her. Made up my mind, told the parents that I'll come after 7 days because I knew that the condition was a little difficult. A marriage they wanted to do in a very right, gorgeous way because they were zamindars,
Mhm.
had big properties. But the man being involved into speculation, he lost all his property. So they had to live in a little condition which is very difficult to live. So I decided that I must select people from a place who knew what is to live under difficulties also.
But in the beginning, it must have created difficulty, no? Because you must be speaking Gujarati and she must be speaking Tamil. I
Yes, there
suppose.
was a difficulty, but then as soon as I went there, I found out that she has not the high type of education up to matriculation. That she is able to communicate a little here, there with a few words. And I didn't want to embarrass them. So I used to get along with one or two words which you may say. And I said I can make do that business. That part is over.
But
But
that-
the The thing was that us coming from a horse carriage, sitting there, seeing her on that door, waiting as it was somebody is going to come to see him. That innocent face, that obedience, and that something of a greatness
Appearance.
within
Within.
was so powerful that can catch
Attracted
you. It attracted me that here is somebody worthwhile.
But that time she was not practicing any yoga or something.
No,
Afterwards
nothing. It's an innocent little girl, that's all. 16-year-old.
You
Marriage
were
was
staying-
done when I was at Balsar.
Balsad. But then afterwards you were staying there?
No, Balsar I stayed. Then we wanted to make a change because everybody used to come and tell me that your place is not here. A man with such knowledge
Yes.
like you
You
should
should
not
be
be into this place. A city like Bombay is suited to you. This was when I was traveling in the train also.
Mm-hmm.
A gentleman looked at me very strangely, kept on looking, and I wondered why he is so much anxious looking at me.
Mm.
He was Mr. Madhavya.
Oh,
The
Mr. Mahadevia.
Madhavya family, very, very
Yes,
rich
very
family of
well-known
Ahmedabad.
family. Yeah.
And I didn't know what he was trying to do. So he came near and sat near me. You look very strange, very different man. I like to do something for you, whatever I can do. I said, there is nothing to do. But where are you staying? I said, Balsar.
Balsad.
Oh, Balsar. Don't you like to go? Kacholi was it? Kacholi.
Mm.
So I stay at a village called Kacholi.
Mm.
In a village,
Mm.
men like you wasting your life. All right. I'll come and meet you again. So I got down at my Malsad station, or where it was, Navsari, or Malsad. And then he got down probably at Navsari. After 2 days, he was with his car.
Is that right?
I wondered at it, and everybody, because people have never seen a car in that village.
In Kacholi?
Ah,
It's so back.
village like people. So as soon as they saw the car, the children began running around to see what it is all about. And I was waiting, seeing in my room. Madhavya came walking majestically. He entered and saw me. So you are sitting here lonely? I say, yes, there is nothing to do here. That is why I have come.
You
This
too.
is not your place.
Navsari. Ah.
Yeah. So he says, at least shift from this village to a little distant place where there are many people who can come and meet you and appreciate your talents. So to hire a house or a bungalow, all that I was all accustomed to. I never entered into that practical life. So he says, you don't worry. I'll send a man one day in advance to tell you, you keep your things ready.
Mhm.
My truck will come. He was a manufacturer of handlooms, bobbins. Bobbin. He was a bobbin manufacturer, and used to supply all the Ahmedabad mills. He had plenty of money also, rich and very, very, very generous man. Very generous. He cannot afford to see any man not in good condition. I mean, he will give any money. So he felt sorry that I should be staying here. He says, no, this is not your place. In
To
2 days'
Navsari.
time, you keep your things ready, I'll take you.
So you were at Navsari for
Then
some
he
days.
took me to Navsari. When I went there, I remember how I traveled, passed through and saw things. I say, going to a new place, not accustomed to, how will people know and what will happen? He said, you don't worry about it.
Mhm.
So I went there.
While this was going on, the family also must have grown. Did you have any children? That
Yes, yes,
Vijay
yes.
Dev must have been.
Yeah, Vijay
Also-
Devanjaji, yes. I think they were about 6 years, 7 years.